Hi, welcome to Tarot Time. Off to a slightly late start this morning. I apologize for that. But StreamYard was acting up, but we solved the problem for now. Here we are, and we are in the storm. We started talking about this in the early autumn, how we were coming into the cosmic storm. Well, here we are, so there's a lot to talk about. So on Tarot Time, we will do meditation card. We do a spread for the week ahead. I've got other divination tools. I've got a brand new angel deck to break out today for you guys this morning. And we'll do a little transmission near the end, depending on what we pick up on. Because for Tarot Time, we like to kind of gauge the energies and maybe pick up on some events that may happen in our lives individually or in the world around us. So again, there's a lot to talk about. If you're watching as a video, I'm going to get started in just a minute or two. I want to say a couple of quick hellos, and that gives my people a moment to get their notifications. Hello, Mary. Hello, Millie. Chris, welcome. Did I see Suzette's in? Yay. Hi, Suzette. Hi, Kaya. Nancy. Hi, Chris. Welcome. Hi, Karen. Hi, Doreen. Welcome, Betsy. All right. And Yolanda's in. And if I miss anybody, I apologize. I'm 5 minutes late. You guys have been starting your own conversation. I see. You've been starting without me, huh? Hello, Beverly. And anybody else that's just jumping in. So it's Sunday morning. It's actually bright and sunny, though it's supposed to rain later or actually snow later in the day up here. So coffee, tea, or caffeine free. Today's my I guess my Saturday, my work week. So I had a lot of readings. Oh my gosh! And last night, you guys, let me know if anything unusual happened last night. I think I wouldn't be surprised if the powers that be that are trying to control the masses and they use things like electronics, vibrations, energies, frequencies, as well as the more standard programming techniques. I think they were really busy last night, and I woke up really strange dreams. I couldn't get back to sleep. I had bruises on my body. And it really felt like this morning I did a lot of energy clears. It really felt like there was some kind of attack. And the powers that be, the cabal, the globalists, whatever you want to call them, they know about astrology. They know about the cycles of energy and know when to launch their we'll just say operations on the collective. And we're in a really historic, I'll say a semi-historic alignment right now with including the Earth and the Sun. That's 5 planets in alignment with the 4 outer planets, all in a harmonic angle, and that's continuing. So that's really what's going on. So we're really in this cosmic storm. We've had obviously the incident at Venezuela and the aftermath of that in Minneapolis. We have Iran apparently claiming their sovereignty and freedom. We told you for the winter psychic forecast, the 2026 psychic forecast, the January psychic forecast, it's going to be very revolutionary and that governments were going to be overthrown around this time. So it was in the air. Myself and other psychics and channels have picked up on more or less the same things. And that's where we are. So let me just check in a few comments. I'm drinking black tea. That's why coffee, tea, caffeine free. To me, black tea is like having espresso, because I don't drink a ton of coffee or caffeinated stuff. Oh, let's see what's going on. Hello, Carla Kelly, and what else? 200 feet from Maduro. Yeah. So they're taking it to taken to New York City, and because I mean, I think there's more to the story than that. I mean, New York City just had elected a Democratic Socialist mayor that's at odds with the president. And I mean, I know there's international courts in New York City, but there are also in Washington D.C. too. Come on, I had a green bruise and weird bite on my torso this week. Yeah. Um, and why can't the people running the cabal be exposed? They are. We don't hear a lot about it. And what I had gotten in channeling a while ago is that a lot of the cabal got scattered. And then they've had to almost regroup and change their plans or accelerate their plans. So it's very fluid. And we talk a lot about how everything's really a stage. A lot of things are really planned in politics or whatever. But like any like concert, speaking of improvisation, R.I.P. Bobby Weir, Bob Weir of the Grateful Dead just passed on. You speaking of improv and music, so there's a lot of improv, and I can't even talk this morning. And anyway, it's fluid. So as people catch on or circumstances change, then the plans changed because of that, but it's still very orchestrated. So yeah. And Karen saying I woke up all the lights still on and my dinner cold in the rice cooker. Yeah, so I guess you guys are relating to the energies and potentially I don't know if you call it attacks. Hello, Felicia. And Nancy is also saying since the change of the food group pyramid, that cause people to become more intuitive since they're getting healthier. It will, yeah. And if if they do discontinue fluoride in water, I tend to be you're very on top of things and somewhat critical of the way things are done in politics in this administration as well as past. But I recognize they're good also. If they can change food labeling, fluoride in water and all that stuff, I'm all for it. If this administration is doing that, I'm all for it, basically. And I don't know. It may be your end because I don't think anybody else is mentioning that I froze. Yeah, Bob Weir just passed. Yeah. Very sad. So the Grateful Dead, most of them are on the other sides. There's Pigpen, there's Jerry, there's Phil, there's Bobby. I think both Bill and Mickey are still living, right? I think they're still alive. And did Donna G pass on recently also? Did Donna Gottschalk pass? I might be hallucinating. I don't know. But anyway, let's do some tarot. I've been setting the intention to get into the cards a little bit quicker than has been my patterns lately. Let's just get right into it. And more on current events and what's going on in the world should come out in the tarot spreads. So I want to start out with a meditation card for the week. See what spirit through me pulls for us to energetically work on in our meditations. Like I was saying in the beginning, we are in the cosmic storm. That shouldn't scare us. We have to deal with physical storms all the time, right? And because the sun heats the planet, it's uneven heating of the planet, the storms balance the energy. So cosmic storms are balancing the energies, cleansing the old. And if we can be in the heart, the heart's the eye of the storm. So the idea when we're in the storm, go more into the heart, because in the heart we're safe, right? Because it's calm. But the storm's power is generated from the eye. The eye is the low pressure that draws all the moisture in and spins it around and throws it out. And that's where you get the hurricanes and the precipitation around that eye. So yeah, everything in nature is the same, the microcosm and macrocosm. If you look at like a plane or, look at the plane of the Milky Way, it resembles a hurricane a lot. There's cosmic low pressure in the middle, the stars spin around that center. It's the same thing. It's the same process that happened on every level and also energetically. So we're in the storm, go into the heart more, heart brain coherence. That never a live stream goes by on this channel that we don't talk about that practice. And I wouldn't want to say upgraded it, because that's a little bit egotistic, but I've modified the practice somewhat to fit my energy. I'll put it that way. And I call it heart, brain, spirit coherence. And I have videos on it. We'll do more. There'll be an online course soon on how to do that. But the idea is you get present like any other meditation. You feel your heart center. When you inhale, expand the heart, exhale, contract. That's part of the spirit, the heart, brain, spirit practice that I do. Expand, contract. You start to move energy through the heart, and then feel super grateful, super compassionate, and hold that and feel your brain and heart connecting. So let your brain feel what your heart's feeling, and sit with that gratitude, compassion, love, appreciation, joy, those heart-centered emotion. And if you do that, your intuition unlocks, your higher healing abilities open up and awaken. Your connection to spirit or source strengthens, so your intuition grows and you have more information. But you cannot be programmed. Hearts cannot be programmed. You're in the eye. The storm can rage around you. You can be in that place of calm. And that's where you can really make the most difference in the world. That's where the ideas will come up of what to do on the physical. It's like people will always be like, the world's a mess. I've got to do something. I've got to do something. But in that mindset, you're really more tied into the problem, the solution, because you're wanting to make a difference, because you're uncomfortable. You're feeling the pressure, the fear, the anger, and all of that stuff. So if you go into the heart, then you draw from spirit, and then what earthly actions you take are going to be inspired from spirit rather than motivated by fear and anger around you, right? So it's a subtle but a very, very powerful difference. So we do advocate taking affirmative action. It's a yin and a yang. So do your meditation, go into the heart, get your insights and inspiration, and then spirit's going to let you know what your life calling is moving forward as we're transitioning from old earth to new earth, as the old towers fall, so we can rebuild the society in the strong foundation of love, compassion, rather than the weak foundation of corruption and power over others that we're in right now. So anyway, back to the meditation card for the week. This is what we want to work on. So so let me just take a breath. All right, I feel the energies. Okay, I got the card. That was fast. Ooh, interesting card. Page of Swords. Page of Swords. It's youthful. It's dexterous. Is that the word? Dexterous. Feel like I'm losing the ability to talk in my old age. Ideas, like swords is air, and it looks a little stormy behind this figure, does it not? But this figure's getting the ideas, right? And lots of expansion, right? And hi, Carla, and hello, Josh. Also, the venerable monks are sparkling hope, peace, and love with their walk. Yes, and they become. That's great. That's beautiful. And that's another aspect of the forecast for this month and this year. Through me, not from me, but through me by spirit, that more spiritual leaders will be stepping up. But of course, all you need to do is tune into the world and observe it, and you'll get the same information. So thank you to the monks, venerable monks. I don't know if that's the Tibetan monks or if that's different. Josh, brother, welcome. Happy to see you. So meditating with tarot, the way I recommend, like any other meditation, this is the benefit of the newer people that may not know what we do here. Black shoulders, chin, and forehead. So start breathing Inhaling love and light, exhaling, releasing, relaxing the body, shoulders, chin, and chin and forehead. If you can relax those 3 points, that's where most people hold about 80% of their tension in those areas. So if you relax that, the rest of the body relaxes also. Then just be aware of what you're feeling. Be open, present, allow, feel. And then in your mind, step into the card and be aware of what you're feeling when you step into the card, because you're going into your physical reality into this new world. It's a different vibration and a different energy in this tarot card. So it's going to feel different. So gauge what you're feeling. Don't try to do, just get it. Maybe just see if you get color, sound, sense, feelings, and this figure will meet you. This is just the doorway, so it's a whole new world, a panoramic view. You can only see the doorway in this card. So what are you seeing? If you're visual, if not, what are you sensing, hearing, and knowing? Who is this Page of Swords? A youthful, intelligent, and Swords is also the connection. It's truth. It's air, so it's the connection to spirit. So this may be a guide that's helping you to connect with higher guides, basically. It may be like an intermediary, like one of your personal guides that's helping you to connect with the Ascended Masters, the star beings, Great Spirit, Source, or God. And there may be other guides, and just ask for messages. And this Page of Swords, I mean, he looks like he's ready for action. It's like a warrior, right? He's got the sword, he's holding the sword here. So it's like a warrior energy that he's possessing here. And he's, ready to go to battle. And sometimes we have to go into these battles. That's part of the storm. But if you hold peace in your heart and love in your heart, then then that's spiritual warriorship. We only fight when we have to, basically. And that's basically that. So what do you guys have to say? So Josh, it didn't work out. Oh, right. You're right. You were gonna move, right? But it completely worked out. That's a great attitude, right? So it worked out the way Spirit had it work out. Levi Daniel did the same as monks. Started speaking and ministering everywhere he went. Non-dominational, strange as someone with such gifts heard so many. Yeah, but that's often the way it is, right? Lots of love to Josh, yes, and everybody, and you tried, yes, and everybody that needs a little bit of extra love this morning. We send it to you. That's good. Yeah. Maybe this year I'll actually get up to Lilydale when the monks are up there. Usually they're very, hey, Casey, Seamus, I just saw you on there. Usually they're up at the beginning, the end of season. Yes, you guys see, I love the support that you guys give each other here. We love you. Glad that you're hanging in there, yes. And absolutely, Suzette, we love and support each other. So let's do a 3-card spread. It said there's a lot of changes, a lot of upheaval in the world, right? And thanks, Felicia. They will speak up. Signals activation of throat chakra makes a lot of sense. Paige will say something that no one else will say. Yeah. I was kind of that kid, and it got me in a lot of trouble. And then I think I know I got very shy, later on in childhood. Kind of like as a little kid, you couldn't shut me up. As an older kid, I get very shy. You couldn't get me to talk. And now that I'm an older man, you can't shut me up again. Come full circle. So 3-card spread. Yeah, the news that we get is so sketchy here, but it looks promising for Iran from what I've been seeing. I mean, who knows what's going on behind the scenes or what's really going on, but it's just a trend, that rulerships that tend to be more dictatorship dictatorial, is that even a word, are getting scrutinized, and there's a lot of revolutionary activity. And just wait till we get closer to Martin Luther King, when the new moon, well, the new moon's actually in the end of Capricorn, but then the moon will go into Aquarius on, I think, the 19th. Then the sun, I think, right in the East Coast, I think it's right in the early morning hours of the 20th. And then Mars, Venus, Mercury, Mars. I'm missing one. Mercury, Venus, Mars. No, those are the three other inner planets. They all go into Aquarius, and they're maintaining not an exact conjunction, but they're in the realm of conjuncting energy. So that's all shifting it into Aquarius, the evolutionary and revolutionary sign from Capricorn. And then they're going to conjunct Pluto in a couple days after that. That's hanging out at about 3 degrees of that sign. So it's all coming down. I think the next 2 weeks we're going to see a lot. Oh my goodness, such generosity. Big hugs to Suzette. Thank you so much. It's really does help, you guys' donations, and just being here and being part of this is really generous also. So thank you so much. I like that gold, so I have to flash that again because I like that color. Gold, wealth, abundance. So let's see. So you had that might have been a physical manifestation of the world around you trying to silence you. I can't even imagine how that worked out. Probably not too well for the other people. Yeah, I've been singing a lot lately. Yeah, the record warms. I know, and then winter's coming back next week. But enjoy. Yeah, enjoy. Just looking at some of your comments. And then Felicia saying you're also working on stage for this time. Well, that's part of the reason that Spirit kind of got me off my butt and onto YouTube to get over that performance anxiety and all of that. I mean, there's multiple reasons, and that was New Year's Eve, 2019, going to my ceremony. Spirit comes through, start a YouTube channel. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Start a YouTube channel? What? I don't know. I didn't know a thing about YouTube at the time, so it's really kind of interesting. And then they said there's going to be a need for it, and then of course the pandemic happened. 3 months later, we got on in June, so it took me a while to learn about it and to get over camera shyness enough that I could actually do a video. So anyway, 3 card spread coming up, I promise. And I still will keep the conversation. I've heard different on stage, that's for sure. A lot of people, just because people are artists, that doesn't mean that they are good people. I know there's a lot of that. Some of my all-time favorites musicians are really like SOBs in regular life. And I will mention the name Peter Gabriel, who's such a genius. His music is amazing. There's always multiple layers of meanings in his lyrics. Such a genius. But I happen to have a connection with his ex-wife, and I've heard a few choice things. I mean, obviously it's from the perspective of an ex, so you can take it somewhat with a grain of salt. But I've heard similar things from other sources. I heard something interesting about Van Morrison, another great. And the quote is that he's as ornery as he is talented, and as talented as he is, that's super scary. I have to say. That is really, really scary. Then there's Roger Waters at Pink Floyd. The list goes on and on, right? But I think I think of people being, very shy personality. Then they all of a sudden they get on stage and they're a whole different person. Think Janis Joplin for the other old timers that are here with me that remember seeing her performing. Yeah. So what else? So Dorian's healing through something. What's uh, what does Dorian have to say? As mine removed 5 years ago. I put off for 20 years until I found a surgeon who would leave the thyroid but remove the goiter. Yeah, they want to just cut it all out, right? Well, I'm glad you got it done in the proper way. Um, very good. And yeah, I believe that. I believe I've died, a few times. That's awakening. It's that's initiation, and come back transformed so I can graduate this time. Yeah, I feel that the same way. And Nancy saying for Josh, I've heard that our souls reincarnate and stay in the same circles, trying to get things right. Maybe your journey of your mom is not for you, but you tried, right? That's all that mattered. You put it out there. You took the high road. You tried, and intuitively, I feel like some good came out of it, even if it's not on the surface. And it's funny because they show me like an old Polaroid camera. You take the picture and it would develop before your eyes. I think that's the metaphor, that you're going to see the development of that situation between you and your mom over time to develop and gain clarity, because that's what the Polaroid cameras do. Right? It starts very fuzzy and you watch it. I remember being a kid and loving this, and then the picture would gradually you gain clarity and sharpness. So I think that's a metaphor for your process with your mom, Josh. That's what Spirit is saying. I think it makes sense. Uh, the revolutionary. Sometimes things work out in that way. All right, so I have to get on with it. That's what happened. I get so involved in conversation. I want to include everybody that we wind up getting behind in the tarot stuff. Hello, Laura. Oh, you've been missing a rip roaring conversation here if you just came on. A lot of great stuff this morning. A lot of great stuff being shared and tossed around. So 3 card spread. In the eye of the storm. Yeah, that's the theme today. We're in the storm. We're in the eye of the storm, though. That's where the storm gathers its power, and that's where we're safe. So let's gather our power. Ace of Pentacles reverse. I'll show these in a second. 5 of Pentacles. I think we're going to get a lot about money in the financial system and the WEF and the BRICS Plus and the group of 7, or are they the group of 20 now? I can't keep track. It's all a game to me anyways. And then the Hermit card. So there's a lot, what this is making me feel like there's a lot of repercussion for things that have happened recently. Part of that, because it's a glaring example, is the kidnapping of Maduro of Venezuela and the aftermath of that. I mean, I'm just looking at this. This is showing me the midnight sun, the season of dark. It's the winter Greenland, right? That's most of Greenland's north of the Arctic Circle and in darkness right now. And yeah, I think we're going to hear a lot in the next week or two about maybe the president, maybe other high level officials coming under even more scrutiny, if that's even possible. Don't be surprised if there's some health disclosures. It may not necessarily be Donald Trump, but we watch him. I think even most people that support him can recognize that he's not doing great health wise these days. I mean, he's still keeping on, right? He's still, doing his job. I mean, he's got a lot of support from his advisors, and the presidents always have that. But I think more of that. The thing is, with the Ace of Pentacles, we could be starting to hear news of a recession or a crash or something about that, or economic stuff. But with the 5 of Pentacles, this is getting my attention. Not only is it that energy of like the dark, it's kind of being left out in the cold or whatever. And there's a point I was going to make. I need more tea here. I mean, that might kick my brain in a little bit more this morning. But yeah, I think a freeze, right? That's what this is. It looks cold, like a freeze. Like there may be some kind of a budgeting freeze. Wait, is the government due to close again or something like that? Does anybody know that if that's happening? Yeah, you can tell I don't watch a lot of mainstream news. And I think there's kind of a sense of it's almost like a Cold War that's going on. It's like a battle of attrition. Maybe that's a way of putting it. It's like who's gonna blink first, kind of a thing. Lines in the sand, posturing, and all that stuff. But I think this is showing a lot of news about our sense of security and stuff like that. Yeah, that could very well be is the Sun Cartel being stopped. Um, yeah, just seeing. Yeah, I'm just looking at your hi Laurie. I'm just looking at your comments, seeing. Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, I think it's probably more than just Russian U.S., but yeah. January 30th, the budget. Thanks for sharing that. So I thought that was coming up. So we might be looking at another shutdown. Hopefully not, but it's possible. I mean, a lot of it's show anyway. But yeah, I think that's a lot that's going on in the news. We have. I think it's time to really, find that place of war and find that place of support. I think, things are really going down around us. I think that's kind of what the cards are trying to say. At the Ace of Pentacles reverse, Pentacles can be about money or security. It's about the earth. So I think it's, again, financial systems falling or getting exposed maybe. The bandages in tarot is usually psychic wounding. But in this deck, it's like it's almost like the younger figures helping the older figures. So I think it's also a message to be there for your neighbor also. And it's a lot of people are really scared and, yeah, obviously, right? And really going through a lot financially. A lot of people have had benefits either cut or taken away. And if not that, well, with inflation, everything's going up except people's wages. So it's just sort of, the cycling of the same old problems until we evolve out of this old archaic fiat dollar system. It's the same cycle. It's going to recycle, boom to bust, inflation recession cycle. It's just going to keep going on until we change that. Gold standard, that's probably on the table. That was actually a prediction for this year that it might even come up as a bill by September. It would seem like I was getting September. It would seem logistically that would be too soon. But if the whole financial system really starts to crash, I mean, it sucks in a way, but maybe that's what we need in order to reform it, right? And somebody was debating on one of my videos that it'd be impossible to go on a gold standard because there's not enough gold. But I believe that there's plenty of gold in reserve. It's just that it's hidden. Basically, it can happen. If there's a will, there's a way, right? Yeah, the Hermit. It could be a fall of leadership, more falls of leadership this week into next week, and we come into that date, January 20th. I did a whole video on it yesterday. If you missed it, it's a good one. I think it's a good one. It got a good response from people. Anyways, it's just talking about all the astrology, how the apex is really around that time. And this could also, this could result in some power outages. So big physical storms are probably on the table this week. I think Midwest, maybe even the Northeast or the South might get a big snow or ice storm where power's out. Solar stuff. So just be prepared. Not scared. I'm not trying to freak anybody out because things have to happen. Storms have to happen in order to balance the energies and come back into the light and to rebuild. So we're in it now. Again, the solution is to be in the heart, to be connected in community, to be prepared, be emotionally prepared for all the drama and trauma out there, to be physically prepared by having food, medication, supplies, and all that in case the power goes out for an extended period. We had the Carrington event in 1859, was it? Or was it 51? I keep forgetting the year. And if we had another Carrington event, firstly, the magnetic field is 15% weaker than it was in the 1850s. Secondly, we have a bunch of satellites up there that a major coronal mass ejection, which is a plasma bang, that would bang out those satellites, big time. Then we don't have internet for months or cell phones for months, maybe even years. So, I do believe there's higher forces that are helping humanity, so they may not want that to happen, but still it doesn't hurt to be prepared. Just understanding how vulnerable that we are to like space weather, to physical weather, to political storms and all that kind of stuff. So the message, prepare for the storm, but don't be afraid of it. It's just part of nature. It's part of the shifting in consciousness that we're in right now. And what do you guys have to say about all that? And then we'll do a couple of other things. We'll tell you a lot about. Copper is a commodity. In one of my forecasts, I talked about people investing in copper. I didn't know that people did that, but it's not a practical investment. I think a ton of copper goes for, maybe hundreds of dollars or something like that. But, as silver supplies run out or run low, copper's not as good in terms of conductivity in electronics, but it can be used if there's not enough silver, basically. So we see the silver shortages. So copper's nowhere in the moment. And there's a heavy industrial demand. People might be thinking, well, no pennies, there'll be no copper. But no, it's used in so many other things. Piping, wires, it's used in so much. Yeah. So if copper is nowhere, that means that the value should go up, right? So anyway, moving right along, we're doing pretty good time-wise. I've got a brand new deck to show you in a minute, but before we do that, I have my Native American tarot, so let's get another card. 44. Yeah, we've been hovering somewhere around in the low to mid 40s here on the channel, it's in the upper 30s here in the Catskills. Beautiful weather for this part of the world for this time of year. So anyhow, we got this would be the 5 of Pentacles. So the card that I pulled from this deck is the same card that I pulled in the main. Different side of the card, basically. Yeah, it's hard to. I think it's been hard to buy silver, also, right? There's been a waiting list. So that's the 5 of Pentacles. So this is called the 5 of Shields, like the medicine shields of the native people, and that's cultivation. So that's that's putting a different spin, because this one is more like being left out in the cold, not having enough, being destitute. So here said, well, when that happens, then we can cultivate. When there's a need, like necessity is the mother of invention. So things are going down in the world, they're down financially. Well, cultivate your ideas. We have to learn to think outside the box. We're going to get a boost because we're coming to Aquarius season with the alignment of all the inner planets moving to Aquarius, within, I think, 3 or 4 days of the sun. So it's all coming in. So Aquarius, that's Uranus. That's the planet and sign that helps us to think outside the box. It rules it, well, it doesn't rule, but it aligns energetically with 4 in numerology. And 4, again, that's the square, that's the box. So I think the idea is, we're so programmed to think about money, jobs, and all that in a certain way. Yet there's so many other ways to cultivate finance, to be able to cultivate work, basically. And I think we have to meditate, ask spirit to help us, and it starts by understanding, what you like, what you love, what you feel, what you see in the world. Somebody may be focused more on seeing what's going on with money, and another person may be more focused on seeing what's going on with outer space and the launching of different satellites and stuff. So it's really like your perspective. There's a meaning for that, and everything you've done in your life is preparing you for this present now moment, because it's all happening in the now. So everything you've done, from like, I used to flip burgers in McDonald's when I was young. Everything you've done, it's prepared you for this present moment and this new earth transition and your ultimate life purpose moving forward. So this is time to cultivate. If things are going down in the world and we're a little concerned about money and the future of the economy, well, what would be economy proof? It's a different time, but back in the Great Depression, the Gallo brothers sold wine on a roadside and became millionaires in the Depression from selling wine on a roadside. That was really thinking outside the box, where everybody was losing their houses, basically. So there's always an opportunity. This is the message. Think outside the box, ask spirit to help. You have something that can make money. There's an idea somewhere there. There's a skill. There's a perspective. There's an invention. There's something. This is the time to do it, because the system is crashing. This whole 9 to 5, you're working, slaving away, making enough money just to come back the next day and slave away to make somebody else rich. That whole agenda is being exposed now for what it is. Yeah, you may get some vacation time, so that way you don't burn out. You can stay working and making somebody else rich. So you're 65. Well, now it's 70. Some people just can't retire now. It's just broken, basically. And accepting that it's broken, acceptance is usually the first part of change. We're programmed to resist. The message in today's tarot time is accept. It's not good on the surface of things. We have to go through some level of discomfort, but all growth involves level of discomfort. So anyway, that was a good spin on the 5 of Pentacles, I thought. Thank you to the Native Americans and their wisdom. All right, so thanks to Doreen's Christmas gift, we have the 22 Archangels Oracle of Kyle Gray. And let's see, this is the inaugural pull of this deck. So let me ask, which of the Archangels? Hello, Archangels, we love you. Lead me to the right card. This is the one right here. Okay. And the card that we got is Michael. Oh, Mikhail or Michael, depending on your preference. And spiritual acceleration. You are experiencing spiritual upgrades. Move forward. Notice, I love the perspective, of Kyle Gray and others. This is more of a dark-skinned image, right, of the archangel. Archangels, we know, are older than Christianity, older than Judaism, and there were depiction of angels in cave dwellings. There were ancient, like, Sumatra legend of star beings coming out of ships. Anunnaki, I think that's what they were called. That goes back way back. That's like Babylonian times. So the acknowledgement of beings from other worlds, as well as winged spirits, has been around way longer than religion. And I think I have to dive more into these cards to get more of a feel of it, but I think he's kind of bringing that out. And if Doreen, if you have anything, to say about that, you're welcome to chime in. Thanks for the lovely gift also. Yeah. Right. All right. And he said he meditates 22 minutes a day, sometimes 11 at a time. I think that's Kyle Gray we're talking about. He also does Kundalini yoga, and I'm a Kundalini yogi also. Oh, I do the practice as well. Another one? Okay, they're saying another one. And because it almost feels like it's trying to come out of the deck by itself. Faith. And what we say about faith is moving mountains. I don't know if that's trust in your ability to create miracles. The impossible is becoming possible. Think outside the box. And also, Archangel Michael is about strength, empowerment, right? Confidence. I relate a lot to the solar plex with Michael. And of course, we know protection as well. The patron saint of firemen, police officers, and whatnot. So anyway, I thought so, Karen. Thank you. Faith, yeah, faith. So that's what it's saying. Trust in your ability to create miracles. The impossible is becoming possible. Great messages. So let's see. I have a couple of others. I want to two more, and then we'll do a little process. And I think what we're going to do is really a process to really get into the eye of the storm. That's the theme right now. To really get into that heart vibration and that heart energy. And from the eye, that's the place of calm, but that's the place of generation of the energies of the storm. And again, I'm being a little repetitive, but it's worth repeating because physical storms like the cosmic storm that's going on, it's meant to balance, it's meant to cleanse. A bad storm will clear trees and new growth will grow in its place. And we also have 3i Atlas. Remember that I'm going to do a video Monday or Tuesday on that because we're going to explore the possibility that it's a cosmic seed, or it's a cosmic seed, or basically an interstellar seed, as it were. And just as a little sneak preview, what's going to happen in March and April is that we're going to the Earth's orbit is going to go into some semblance of a debris trail of 3i Atlas. Now, mind you, 3i Atlas was never that close to the sun. It was 1.8 astronomical units, or 1.8 times the distance of the Earth from the sun at its closest approach. So we're not so the interstellar object did never literally cross the Earth's path, but it outgassed. It had a lot of jets, and some of those jets are I believe anyway. We'll find out. Are what's the right word? Ejecting some interstellar material into the inner solar system, and the Earth's going to pass through that field. Now, if there's actually any small objects, we might get quite a meteor shower sometime around that time. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's possible. But the thing is, in interstellar space, well, it's 99.99% plasma, which is conscious. It's sort of like the energetic clay that we build our reality from. So there's a consciousness, there's a resonance of universal intelligence expressed within the plasma. There's also different kinds of plasma, but it's the fourth state of matter, or matter before it becomes matter, if that makes more sense. But there's still gases, and there's still all the building blocks for DNA and RNA exist in interstellar space. It's a vacuum from our perspective, but it's not a complete vacuum. There could be one gas molecule every kilometer, basically. To us that's a vacuum, but an object that's been traveling probably billions of years can accumulate a lot of material that's the building blocks of life. And what if 3i Atlas is really seeding like new forms of life into our Earth and solar system? It's a what if. It's a unproven theory. But anyway, we're going to dive more into that in the video. So there's a little sneak preview of that idea. So on that note, let's look at the totem animal for the week. Um, and of course, I feel like Spirit's saying there is some purpose or consciousness too. There is some life. 3i Atlas has some resonance of life, and a lot of people that are very knowledgeable about the star beings believe that it actually is a craft of some kind, and we can't say no to that because we don't know what it is. Until we know, we can't say no. And certainly it has a resonance of life, and I believe it's probably, if it's not extraterrestrial, I think it's interdimensional or just cosmically guided. Basically, there's an intelligence that's guiding it. Exactly what form of intelligence, I honestly don't know. So I'm not going to say that I do, but I do. When I first remote viewed it in mid-August, I got that right away. This is life. This is a form of life we don't understand. But at the same time, it's also a rock. There's minerals, there's water, there's nickel, there's carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, all of that stuff. But we only know biological life. We have no idea if there's mineral life. There's a vast universe out there. How could there not be, right? So anyway, so this is the card. I'm seeing a dog or wolf. So let me see what I actually pulled. We got an antelope where the deer and the antelope play. I wonder if antelopes represents playfulness. I'm not too familiar with antelope. I mean, they're in the deer family, obviously. So there's strength and gentleness associated with it. I feel a sense of leadership from the card in a way. But I'm not familiar with this one. I need to peek in the book. 37. Action. Interesting. Action. That kind of makes sense. They have a little poem, and I'll just read that. Run, antelope, teach me of action and its pace. Quickly, so I may run with grace. So I think they're just saying, this is the time for action. It's good to be in a meditative place, in the heart, in the eye of the storm, and everything. But it's also, from what they're saying, keep tabs on what action to take. Also, keep running forward, but not running away. Running towards something. Running with purpose. This song by Renaissance popped up in my mind. And that's not what you're supposed to do, because the lyrics are running hard towards what used to be. Annie Haslam, what a voice on her, right? For the musical aficionados here. So anyway, so be active now. I think, I'm asking, why do we pull that? I feel like Spirit's saying, well, we can't stagnate. It's like when we feel a lot of pressures from society, and there's such high frequencies, if we stagnate it's just not good for us physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So do more physical exercise, do more walking, and don't feel helpless. Take some kind of action. Even if you commit to a meditation practice, that's action. That's taking action. It means like you're not being a victim. It's not like saying, the world sucks, it's hopeless, I'm going to crawl in bed and wake up and hopefully everything will change. No, it's saying we have to take some kind of action, and committing to a spiritual practice, that's action. So I think that's the underlying meaning of that card. 53. I have time to where's the Isis Oracle? Dang nabbit, I thought I bought the Isis Oracle out. Oh, here it is. So let's get this was a gift of about a year ago or even longer from Josh of Josh's Universe. And you guys, again, if you have YouTube channels and you want to share your channels on the chat, please do. You guys do some great stuff. If I wasn't so dang busy with my channel and work, you'd see me on your channels more than you do, but it is what it is. But I always feel happy when it all lines up, that I just happen to be eating or have a free moment and one of your videos comes up. That's when you see me, by the way. That's the clue. Anyhow, So what we got is initiation. Yeah, we are an initiation. A lot of people, I'm seeing this with my friends just today in their comments, are like, it just feels like I can't be with the same people anymore. Well, that's part of initiation. That's part of the awakening. And what it says here is spiritual testing of Ra, which is the sun god, and the lady Isis. And I think this is it. It's a big test and everything. So we're really becoming interdimensional, where we're coming into another level, a higher dimensional reality. And a lot of us are feeling like we're not part of this world anymore. The split is really happening. It may not be black and white that some people interpret it, but a split of timelines is happening. An ascended Earth and the same old Earth, and it's just I can't relate to the Earth, the Earth and society. I'm happy to teach. I'm happy to do this. I'm happy to teach live also, and to do things that help people. But I'll tell you, just going out shopping, I have to ground center, feel my shields around me. When I go out, it's just, I'm not part of this. I'm just not part of this anymore. And the funny thing is, that was the first response I had when I had my initial awakening, and God, when I was 19 years old, when I just had the flash and I just realized that everything was a lie and I needed to learn the truth. I just felt like I'm just not part of this world. And it's really kind of reached, but the thing is, I got that. I mean, it wasn't a happy, I mean, part of it was amazing. These psychic abilities kicked in. I can move things with my mind. It's just all, which I'm not doing now. I'm redeveloping those things that came up in that, reading people's mind, all kinds of crazy things. But then over time, I started to reintegrate back into the world. But then I'm kind of at this point where I'm just like not of it anymore. And I accept that. And I think a lot of you are feeling that also. And that's just part of the split. So we are going to a different timeline. We bless the world. They'll evolve. That aspect of Earth will evolve in its own time and way. No problems there, no worries. It's not like we're better than them. We're just on a different trajectory, basically. And somehow this card initiation reminded me of that, basically. Reminded me of that truth. So last but not least, let's do the frequency, and then we'll do a little transmission to really do a little bit of heart vibrating in the heart, like a heart transmission we'll do with the master teachers, of course, and the archangels. Maybe Michael will say hi. Feel like I'm here. I already have. Hi again from Michael. And we got here is sacral chakra. So that's the creative center. Sacral is very connected to solar, right? All the chakras are connected. So if one chakra is out of balance, the whole system's out of balance. And when it says about the resonance of the sacral chakras, the frequency of sacral chakra, the orange flower of life, supports our ability to flow with our desires and stimulates our creative power to manifest success and abundance in our lives. So you can just gazing at the card, you can absorb you can really absorb the sacred geometry. And it's all very thematic for what we're talking about, that you're thinking outside the box, that you are creative. We are always creating our reality. We're just 95 to close to 100% subconscious. 97 plus percent of people are so programmed that they don't know what they're creating. And even if you start to transcend that programming, it's still a pretty extensive spiritual process where you really start to, what's the right word, key into that intrinsic understanding of how energy works and how we really are collectively and individually creating everything. And it's through the plasma, it's how it manifests into our reality, and through divine consciousness also. So we're already creating it, and now it's time to be more conscious of what we have created, not blaming ourselves if it's unpleasant, but acknowledging it's just a stage of learning and growth. It's neither good nor bad. It just is. And then really feeling in your heart, being in the heart. Once you're in the eye of the storm, really feeling your reality. You can see it with your mind, not necessarily visualization if you don't hold mental images, but really feel it and know it in your mind. Well, know it in your mind, visualize it, feel grateful in your heart, and then you're in heart-brain coherence. And if you're present, you take that energy to the quantum field that creates everything in the realm of spirit. And through the power of repetition, you start to mold a new reality through these plasmic fields and these fields of consciousness. It takes time because the physical environment that's the nature of it. The changes happen instantaneously, but the effects that we see in the world around us take time. So through the power of repetition, you keep doing it, you start to mold your new reality. So that's the message I'm getting. Let's do our transmission. Drink lots of water now. I've got my lemon water. I'm doing my fasting today, so I do a little 16 to 20 hour fast once a week now and drink lots of lemon water. And I'm going to clean my whole home, so before I clean, I'm going to break it. Yeah, hi, Victor. Yeah, I've went through years where I only remember my dreams very scantily. I remember not every dream, but every night I remember my dreams now, and they're lucid. This morning I was in a tiny car, and it's like this is when I was also getting a lot of energetic attacks and woke up with bruises. Here's one example right here. I did not have this when I went to bed. I did not have this. I don't think I punched anything in my sleep. Like, you never know. So like I was saying in the beginning, that there's a lot of this force through the deep state, Kabbalah, or whatever. So there's like a new level of energy. They're taking advantage of this astrological alignment. So stay in your heart. They can't program you when you're in your heart. The energy will just pass through. It'll run its course, and you'll be stronger, basically. So on that note, so you say you guys are dreaming, yeah, and I'm dreaming. Thanks for reminding us. So that's 11 tonight. Millie is there, and also Truth Wave, who does an amazing meditation, also twice a day too. So if you want to get in on his channel, of course, we always talk about Josh's universe. He does so much community work with his people. It's just very, very impressive, the work you guys do, I have to say. So keep on keeping on. Keep leading the way, guys. So let's get nice and relaxed. So there'll be some tony or light language, and these are just patterns of sound frequency that your spirit understands, that your intrinsic understanding, your DNA responds to, basically. And then the master teachers are interdimensional beings of light that use me and other channels to be able to manifest in the physical, to raise the frequencies, to help the natural flows of energy increase, basically, is what they do. With your permission and your higher self's involvement, of course. So just get nice and relaxed. And again, just feel your shoulders relaxing for a second. Chin and cheeks, they're here, and forehead. Yes, greetings, dear. Use your voice. Yes, sing and sing some more. That joyful expression of love that happens through your vessel, through your vehicle, that gets enhanced through your sacral chakra. We talked about that earlier. Expressed through the throat chakra, but involves the whole system. Singing is your paradise. It's your transition, as it were, your transformation to taking these vibrations and bringing it to life. Oh. Viditya no se Mavanao. Express, allow spirit to express through you, through the chants and songs that you know and love. Even if you don't know it, you do know it. Yet it is written into your DNA. And as we vibrate, as we work with these frequencies to accelerate the vibration through you, it helps to unlock this hidden knowledge, hidden within your own genetic makeup, within every cell, every atom, well, every cell and molecule in your being. So let us assist you in unlocking this hidden knowledge, for you are in a process of learning and growth. And guess what? You are learning now what you used to teach in another time and place. Relearning, as it were, and the circle is complete. So let us vibrate in the heart center and sing the song of joy, of love, of passion, compassion together. Inspiration, inspire, in spirit. Sebachonia sivosia motia vose Mario And breathe in from the heart, breathe out from the heart. Feel your heart expanding. Feel grateful, compassionate. Feel those feelings expand into every cell, molecule, and the space in between the cells in your body. Feel those cells expanding, energizing, exciting in these higher frequencies, creating more space, elasticity in the body, the energy fields, and more space between the molecules that allows more chi or prana to flow through you, to cleanse, to clear, and to raise your vibration and frequencies. Just feel your heart open and expanding. Feel your energies grounding. Allow your heart and the earth to connect, the earth heart, the heart earth. And just start to let the energy just relax now. Feel your roots extending from your root chakra or the soles of your feet or both into the earth. Take a couple deep breaths from the earth and back down into the earth. Feel in your auric field, your luminous egg at the bottom. Just let the tailpipe open to let any excess energy out of your systems from this transmission. And the music never stopped. For those of you that love the Grateful Dead like myself, celebrating Bobby Weir's life today as he's making his transition, joining Jerry, Pigpen, Phil, and the others in the spirit world. I was tempted to sing Let It Grow. I was like, well, I don't know all the words to that song anyway, but that's one of my favorite Bob Weir songs is Let It Grow. You know, not the Eric Clapton, but the Grateful Dead song Let It Grow. And thank you, everybody. Love to you. Yes, love to Bobby. I got to meet him. I got to meet all of them except for Jerry. He would disappear after the show. You wouldn't see Jerry, but Bobby would be hanging out. You'd have a friend that helped. You know, she had a lot of chutzpah and helped us get backstage after a couple of the shows. It was a lot of fun. So anyway, back in the day. So love you guys. The music never stopped. Exactly. Now, am I hallucinating? Did Donna God show up past not that long ago too? Or, I mean, I hope I'm not having a premonition if she's still alive. Because she during her time. Oh, Let It Grow by the Grateful Dead. It's part of a composition called Weather Report Suite. The whole suite is beautiful, but the Let It Grow part is the main part of that song. Yeah, exactly, Josh. I know. I ran into you at RFK in '93 or one of those shows. I just know it. I don't know if we said anything to each other, but I know that we did. Yeah, exactly. So I'm not hallucinating. Donna did pass, so they're all singing. Yeah, and the thing is, I'll end in a minute, but we love our music here. You know, think about Donna. She had an amazing voice, but she would often get quite inebriated and sing out of tune in the concerts. But whenever they did Road Jimmy, no matter how bad off key she sounded, she'd always nail it with Jerry on Go Jimmy. Go figure, right? Or Road Jimmy, not Go Jimmy. Road Jimmy is the name of the song. Exactly. She's an amazing singer. Exactly. Yeah. Lots of love. And of course, her husband also passed, right? Keith passed too. And Pigpen passed. So they're the Grateful Dead, except for the drummers, they're all jamming in the spirit world for us. Yeah, maybe I saw you at RFK there. I did the whole leg of that tour. What do we do? Deer Creek and the Solstice. We were kind of like, oh, cool, they're airlifting Jerry. I know we were all like watching it. Little did we know they were airlifting him because there were death threats against him. Yeah, so I was at Deer Creek, and then we went down to RFK. We drove down to RFK and called those shows on that tour, and then I went out west. So I called Eugene and Mountain View. So because 92, I got a premonition that Jerry was going to die. So 93, I saw a bunch of shows, and a couple of 94 also. Yes, no coincidences. So here we are. And another little footnote before I end for the deadheads that are still on. The first show I saw was in '78 in Syracuse or Rochester, one of the college shows. I think it was Syracuse. And it's like we libate on hallucinogens at these shows. So I was into the LSD and the mushrooms back then. Really actually help with forming the foundation of spirituality. So it was a good experience for me. And then by the third song, Jerry would start looking around, and at one point our eyes met, and I was tripping my face off, but our eyes met. And all of a sudden I saw us all out in the desert, same people. We were out in the desert. There's no music, and Jerry was like the leader, and we were all part of this like religious movement. He wasn't Jesus. It wasn't that grand, but all of a sudden, it's like in that moment I got it, it's like that's why some people are just so crazy about the Grateful Dead. Then other people were like, I don't get it. I mean, the music is nice, but what's the big deal? That's because we did this before. That's what I got. And that was back in 1978, right? That was like right after I had the awakening also. So that's when I got into tripping, although I got into it a little bit before. But anyway, enough of that. So I just figured I'd share that with you guys. Yeah, I loved it also. Yeah. And I got the good connection to. We were doing like government tested acid back in the day. You know, it was like whew, the good stuff. So we were doing that back in the day, and that was just one of many experiences that let me know that the physical world is an illusion, and that we live in a separate reality. So doing the hallucinogen will help me to understand the energetic reality behind the physical. The only problem is you'd come down and feel like crap for days. So after a while, I stopped doing it. But it really, for me, it was a very good thing. So anyway, for my older brother, not so much. But that's a story, and I might share it another time. So anyway, love you guys. Thank you. You know, that's interesting. I like Fish. I like their music. They're excellent musicians, but they're not the Dead. You know, they're not the Grateful Dead. And it's not the same vibe for me. There's just this band now, Goose, that got very popular. And actually, the last time I saw this on a video, the last time I saw Bobby perform was on a video with Goose. I forgot what song they did, but I think they did Jack Straw. Actually, that's what they did. So anyway, yeah, the alchemy's different. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. All right. Love you. Thank you. And we will see you. We're down to 33 people. So we've got the master of the master numbers on right now. Love you guys, and we'll see you next time. Hi, Chloe, if I missed you before, and Queen Beezy. Hi to you too. And I think I said hi to Betsy earlier, but if not, hi, Betsy. And guys, they came on late. The beginning was pretty powerful. So if you want to go back to the beginning, we shared a few things from Spirit. I forgot what it was, but I thought it was like, wow, thanks for bringing that through. All right, love you guys. Big healing to everybody. We've got this. We're in the storm, but we're in this together. So bend down the hatches, keep the heart open, and keep with open heart, connecting to Spirit. Think outside the box. There's a calling for you that you don't have to slave anymore. That's old earth. You don't have to slave for $1. You can start to do what you love and what adds value to the world, and money just will start to come to you that way. I mean, it's still work, obviously, but it's a whole different thing. So it's a whole different energy. We're riding this one out right into new earth. Love you.